Hello, welcome back to my coverage of the 2024 Silk Road Mountain Race. We're now on day 5, so let's head over to map progress and see what's been going on. If you remember yesterday, the riders, or the lead riders, were coming off the plateau next to the Chinese border and heading down to Narin. Now it sounds like only 3 riders made Narin last night. So Tom and Joe made Narin fairly early, and then Marin was a couple of hours further back. These other guys, Ron, Angus, Vlad, they were probably bivvied out somewhere. Well, I know Angus bivvied up somewhere up high after the old Soviet road, so he would have slept at high altitude again. So yeah, the sounds. It looks like we're getting a couple of riders now who are probably going to be battling for the win with Tom and Joe. They're only 2 or 3k apart. They can probably see each other in certain parts of the event, of the race, and yeah, it's going to be exciting. But it is a Silk Road Mountain race, so anything can happen still. Marin, Ron, Angus, they're still within have a chance if something happens up front. But at the moment, the 2 strongest riders seem to be Tom and Joe. So yeah, I'll dig into the route in a second. Before I go any further, just have to thank Redshift as usual. Just show you the little lights that they have. So these are really cool little lights. I just chuck them on my bike. They run on the front or the rear. Put them on a bracket on the back. And yeah, that's what I kind of put on the back of my tail fin rack. So yeah, they're pretty cool. So check them out, and yeah, big thanks to Redshift as always. And there's a discount in the description if you're interested in anything. So yeah, thanks to Redshift, and let's take a little look at the course. So we discussed yesterday the riders heading towards Narin, as I said, coming off this long plateau, and now you can see it's a bit more up and down. The altitude's not quite so sustained, so they've got a long drag up today where the riders currently are now. So this is the Arabelle Plateau, and they're about to reach sort of the crux of the pass. It's quite a steep pass at the top here, but not particularly long, but it's a long drag all the way up from Narin. So it's going to be fairly slow riding. I'll put the wind layer on just to see what's going on with the wind. A bit of a tailwind, so it's going to be a bit more helpful, but it's not particularly fast going up there. I'll show you some video now that I took last year, and it'll give you an idea of what's going on. So this is the road that runs into Narin. So if we look on the map here, I'll get the layers out of the way. So the road into Narin here is what the riders would have been riding last night, probably in the dark. It's a pretty good road. It's part of the Chinese border road. So there's quite a few trucks on there, and yeah, it would have been fairly easy miles, but it would have been at the end of a long day. But at least you know that you have got that reward of Narin at the end. There's guest houses, there's hotels, there's restaurants. It's probably one of the more kind of the bigger towns. And then once you're kind of out of Narin, it's a long drag, as I said, and this is the kind of the roads you'll be on, dirt roads. Obviously, I was going the other way last year. This was a downhill. The riders will be going up here, and you can see there's this long kind of river gorge early on, and then it kind of opens out further up to the top. Once you get sort of higher up, you've got this kind of terrain. There's loads of horses and things up there, cattle. Fairly open pasture land, obviously not much cover if a storm does come in. Sounds like the weather's been reasonable for most of the riders so far, to be honest, and they've got this nice tailwind blowing them up sort of towards the camera as well. And then once you get up high, this isn't quite Arabelle Pass, but you can see this was dawn last year. I actually went over Arabelle in the dark, probably about midnight. Gets very cold up there. There's a lot of river crossings, so you don't really want to be stuck up there in the dark. The riders now will be about 6 p.m, so they would have got over that and will be descending down in the dark. But yeah, slow going. It was kind of okay going down, obviously, but it was very cold. Not much in the way of resupply, and they're not going to be able to resupply until the next checkpoint. So the next checkpoint, as you can see, is down on the lake here. CP3. If we look at the profile, they've got this plateau at the top. That'd be cold at the top, but then the descent down, it's actually I think there's a mine up there somewhere on this kind of border section. So the road is fairly well driven. I don't have any video of it because we did the off-road hiker bike last year, which sucked, to be honest. I had a bit of a bad time on there, but you can see here It's very well driven, pretty smooth road. It will be dusty for sure, but it should be fairly fast going for these riders to get down to the checkpoint. And again, I think they're going to time it quite right, because these leaders, they're Joe and Tom. They're on a they've managed to sort of get the resupply really well. So checkpoint last night. Sorry, they had to camp out here, but then they got the checkpoint yesterday for a nice meal. Then they got a hotel last night in Narin, and they should be able to get to CP3 again and sleep somewhere warm. Now it's probably 7 p.m. local time. It's going to be probably 3 hours, so I reckon they'll be there probably 10-ish, 10, 11 at night. So it would make sense to have a good night's sleep here, and then get ready for a final push. A good sort of 2-3 days final push, but then they could almost get to they could almost get from there to Kokchor. There's places to stay there, and then it's not too far. Well, it's a long way, but it's not too far for the finish. You can almost do it in one hit. You got Shamsi and Kokarik and the bonus climbs. It'll be a long day, but it's definitely possible to go from the bonus climbs to the finish. So you could do that in one hit if you wanted to, and I suspect if these guys are close, they're going to have to do that if they want to win it. So yeah, a lot to look out for, and you still can't rule out anyone at the back. If anything happens to these guys, they could make up ground. Further back, Hannah is still leading the women's field, but she's making good progress overall as well. So she's up to 12th now. It looks like her and Jacob pretty much seem to be very close together. Jacob is pretty young. He's done this before. He's probably going to be a name to watch in the future, given his experience on these races. And he's on the edge of a top 10. I mean, if Jacob could get a top 10 in this, it'd be a massive result for him. He's ridden a lot with JP Davari. He's ridden the Silk Road as a pair with JP, so he knows what he's doing. And again, Hannah, she's pretty tough. So these two are definitely going to be thinking of the top 10. And then you can see kind of the mid-pack starting to make its way into the CP. Again, some of them might decide to stay there. You can get a good meal, or they might just want to push over the Soviet road. But this plateau area is pretty cold, so you want to certainly be getting off the plateau if you can tonight. And these guys here, well, I suspect they'll all make a big push to the checkpoint as well. It's one of those things you want to push through really and get it done to avoid the worst of the conditions. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. Let's do a little bit of social media now. So Tom put a bit of a post up leaving Narin yesterday, just confirming that he stayed in the guest house really. But he's looking fairly fresh. Well, as fresh as you can be when you're riding around Kyrgyzstan.
Rolling out of Narin. Stayed in the guest house last night. Nice to take a shower. And Joe rolled in about the same time, so we shall see.
So yeah, that was Tom. So, like you said, we will see. Hannah's put a few posts up. So yeah, it looks like she's having a great time. So yeah, some really cool shots from Niels, who's the race photographer, and she's also got a fundraiser going. So check out her Instagram for Black History Bike Ride, and I think there's a GoFundMe there. So yeah, Hannah's doing a great job. So if you want to support her cause, go on her Instagram and give her a follow and hit the link there. And then finally, just a little bit about the women's race. We've got some images coming through on the Silk Road official feed. Things are a little bit slow to get up. We're normally a couple of days behind on the Silk Road, predominantly just because there's not much in the way of signal at times, especially in this area at the moment. So I suspect that once the media teams get down to Narin, we'll find some more stories, or maybe checkpoint 3 now, because the media crew are chasing the leaders at the moment. So there's Hannah and Emma Mizale, who are battling it out. Hannah's coming out on top at the moment. There's Emma there. So this would have been a couple of days back now, I think. And yeah, pretty hot. Hannah taking a shower. Well, I guess that's as good as a shower you get in Kyrgyzstan, under a kind of a pipe waterfall, as she's described it. And there we go. That is the kind of the vibes of the the leaders of the women race. Looking having a bit of resupply at the same time there, and that's just the terrain. It's pretty spectacular. It's an amazing place, and it's definitely a place I want to go back to pretty soon. And I think that rounds up everything for day 5. So I'll be back with another update tomorrow, and let's see how it all pans out.